Okay, here goes nothing. Hey guys. This is going to be the world's most awkward intro. Welcome to our podcast.
Hi.
Welcome to our podcast.
Okay.
All right, deep breaths. Ready? 1, 2.
Hey.
Welcome to our podcast called Yapville. My name is Taryn.
My name is Amanda.
And we are just two besties who love hot gossip and we've always wanted to do something fun together. And we also think we're pretty funny and we like to yap, so listen. This is so awkward.
Okay. I think we're the funniest people in the world. So, we wanted to share our talents with you.
We've also been best friends for like 20 years. We met in middle school and we bonded over being scene queens. And we also really hated gym class and we'd always walk the mile together.
We would. And I would always put my gym clothes on top of my actual clothes. I would never change because
I have body issues. Getting way too deep for the intro. And just a little premise of this podcast, we really love drama. We really love spooky stories. So we're basically just going to be reading
things we find on the internet.
Yeah, mostly Reddit.
And giving our unwanted opinions on it.
We love unsolicited opinions here.
Oh yeah, we love that. So we're just going to put our 2 cents into everything no one asked for. But it's fine.
It's fine. It's fun. Hey guys, I just wanted to come on here and thank you for listening to our first episode. With it being our first time, we did have a little bit of audio issues. You can't really hear the second person talking. You can, but it sounds really low because we are working on one mic because we're newbies here. But thank you so much for sticking it out. And by the second recording, we will definitely have 2 mics. Thanks, guys.
Love you.
Okay, here we go. So this first story comes from AITAH, which is so hard to say, from Choose Kindness 21 Lady.
Good name.
The title is, My husband confessed something to me that happened at his bachelor party from 11 years ago, and I'm pissed.
Uh-oh.
TAH, for being pissed. I, 40 female, married my spouse, 39 male, 11 years ago in Vegas. About 40 of our friends and family flew down to join us. Side note, I had horribly broken ankles 6 weeks before the wedding.
Oh my God.
6 breaks total, and they had surgery. We had made a deal that neither of us would be going to strip clubs, private stripper or prostitute experiences, etc. My brother had gone to a bachelor's party in Vegas before, and they had prostitutes perform a very dirty show in a hotel room for them. And you can only guess what else. So nothing like that. We agreed the shows were fine. The girls that were at my wedding took me to Thunder. I had seen Thunder before. My soon-to-be spouse also knew that was our plans. So after breaking away from the rehearsal dinner, I didn't see or talk to my spouse until about 2 a.m. When he came stammering into the room, threw up all over the bed, and I had to stay awake the rest of the night to make sure he didn't choke on vomit.
Oh, sorry.
We were getting married that day. I learned that he had lost his ID at one of the multiple strip clubs. Well, guess what? You can't get married without an ID. His groomsmen and friends managed to retrace the steps and find his ID in time for the wedding. The wedding went fine. There were great moments, but I could also tell how my husband wasn't feeling well.
What? Why would you have the bachelorette party and the bachelor party the night before the fucking wedding?
I feel like they were probably trying to squeeze it all in because they were in Vegas.
That's a terrible idea.
Bad idea. Of course he wasn't. He knew how hurt I was. Fast forward 11 years. I really like his mom. We get along great and we talk about everything, but rarely see or talk to each other, maybe once or twice a year. She was over last night and we were drinking and having a great girls' night in the hot tub. My husband came home, joined us, and I don't even remember how we got on the topic of our wedding, but he told me something he's never hinted at before. He said he was drugged at the strip club. That while getting a private dance, he was pressured into ordering a drink even though he claimed he was done drinking for that night. He said she 100% drugged him, stole his ID and credit card, and spent over $500 on his card. For one, it's really not even passing the smell test because why were his friends able to get his ID back? And why not tell me? Then waiting until I'm with his mom and tell me in front of her. I'm also pissed he ruined my night last night. What did he expect? Sympathy? I went to bed after this whole thing came out, so I have no idea what his mom said. So the question was, my husband confessed something to me that happened at his bachelor party from 11 years ago, and I'm pissed. I don't know.
I mean, I'm a dramatic ass bitch, so I'd be mad, obviously. I'd be like, why are you gonna because I'm crazy, but, why is he telling you this 11 years later?
Yeah, so random.
I feel like if something that dramatic happened where, like, obviously you wouldn't want to say anything on your wedding day, like, that's crazy, but if something that drastic and dramatic happened where you were fucking drugged and then they took money, I would be like,
I'd be
guess
suing.
what the fuck happened to me?
I've never been to, like, a strip club. Do you, like, sign a waiver or something?
Girl, I don't know.
Probably
I've
not.
always wanted to go, but, like, I wanted to go with, like, a group of girls, but I'm just scared of the men there.
Oh, okay. I'm, like, reading the comments. Former stripper here. I've been drugged 3 times at work. Seen more men drugged. I lost count. It definitely happens.
Oh, shit. I'm not saying that he's lying. I don't think that he's lying at all. I can foresee that happening, but I'd be more mad. Why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, I feel like it's not like why even bother 11 years later? Like, just tell her, like, after the honeymoon or, like, the night after the wedding or the next day
Just,
even.
like, guess what happened?
Like, suck
I think
it
I was
up.
fucking drugged. Like, I'd
Yeah.
be pissed that you wouldn't tell me that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we're married for 11 years and I'm just now finding out you got drugged at your bachelor party.
I'm
And
reading
money was taken?
I'm reading some of the comments. I don't see anything from the OP.
I don't think that you have any reason to not be upset, but I'm dramatic.
I mean, honestly, it kind of affected her special days, so I would be pissed. Someone says, I don't understand why people go to this whole strip club / nightclubs, etc. If you're getting married, makes you so unhappy that you will miss your fun with sex and alcohol, then just don't get married.
I don't understand. I will never understand that either. Like, your last hurrah, then don't get married.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what?
Or unless, like, I mean, they did, like, agree on it, so I don't see...
And I'm sure married men go to strip clubs.
Oh,
like,
my God, 100%.
Right.
Girl.
Like, so what's the fucking problem? Plus, I don't know.
I'm trying to see if the OP doesn't have any comments. Yeah, I would say not the asshole.
Not at all.
I would be pissed, but I guess I feel like we don't have as much context as I would like because...
Especially him bringing it up in front of the mother. Like, you can't be
That's
mad
so
at me because
awkward.
it's in front of my mommy.
Yeah.
I'm in front of my mommy. You can't get mad.
This was also only posted 3 hours ago, so I'm assuming that's why we don't have an update yet.
That's crazy. Imagine. It's Amanda. Hi. It's time I read you guys a little story from... This one's from Reddit on Am I Overreacting? And it's by user Slight Ad. I love these, like, fake Reddit names. Like, my Reddit name is, like, Upbeat Twist. Okay. The name of it is Am I Overreacting? Partner went out with a new friend, shaved down there and tidied his beard.
Not the beard tidy.
Not the shaving down there. Immediate, no, you're not overreacting. But let's read it. It starts kind of crazy. He went out with a new friend. I do not know the guy as he worked with him for a bit, but he's a shifty guy. My partner went out to watch the boxing and said he'd have to stay at his friend's, which is fine. Skip to the morning. He's still awake at 8 a.m. So I FaceTime with the baby. Like, what baby? I need more context. I need more context. Yeah. Like, we're not, like, this is like, but this is like, I need more context in these. Like, we're not, like, your friends. Like, you need to explain everything. Skip to the morning. He's still awake at 8 a.m. So I FaceTime with the baby, and the house doesn't look like his friend's house. He has purple wallpaper, but this house had landlord yellow. He suddenly puts down the phone and thinks he's hung up, and I heard a woman.
Oh, shit.
He didn't tell me he was with other friends or anything, which makes me suspicious. It's now 3:30 p.m. And that happened at 8 a.m.
Is he still at home?
I've called a second time and he hadn't even left when he said he was going to around midday. When I asked who was there, he had lied to me. I confronted him and he's stumbling over his words, which isn't like him if he's telling the truth. Am I overreacting by thinking he's possibly done something he shouldn't? And even if he hasn't, am I overreacting about the zero communication and coming home a day late when he has kids at home?
Is that it?
Well, there's updates. But what do you think?
Oh my god. I think that I hate men.
Right.
I would be like packing my kids in the car and going over there.
3:30, if I call you on FaceTime, you pretend to hang up.
And there's a girl.
And there's a woman talking, and I don't hear again from you for 3 until 3:30. I'll be at that bitch's house.
Literally.
I'm
like,
crazy.
I mean...
There'll be 87 missed calls. The cops will be called. I have your location. I'm going.
I think I would just pack up my kids and go over there and be like, hey.
Hey, this is your family.
Hey, where are we right now? I would walk into the house and be like, hi, I'm his wife. Who are you?
Oh my God. Okay, there's updates.
Okay.
There's 2. All right, update 1. I've confronted him. He says there was all sort of people there now. I told him I don't want to feel like this. He keeps just apologizing and giving the overdramatic, I never do anything. Why would I ruin what I have? I went out for a cig, came back in to him sobbing, saying he's sad, that I think that of him, and that he loves me so much, and he's so sorry. I don't know what to believe, and he's still pissed as a fart.
Did he confess to, like, cheating or something?
No, he's saying, why would you think that of me? Gaslighting 101.
If you didn't, like, he wouldn't be crying if he wasn't guilty.
Right. Why would you? I'm so sad that you would think that way about me.
Ugh, poor lady.
Second update. The man's been put to bed after a bit of dramatic sobbing. Oh my God, this man is a man-child.
Also, was he, like, on a bender? He was awake at 8
Had to be. Honestly, I don't know what to think. I do know that I need to leave him regardless if he's been cheating or not. Yes, queen. This post popping off really did kick me up the arse. Thank you for everyone's comments. Some made me laugh and some really did get me thinking. Because the top comment is, you know the answer to this.
Yeah, honestly.
Why, if my boyfriend, husband, partner was getting ready to go out with friends and started shaving his pubes... I would immediately, what the fuck are you doing? I understand, like, shaping up your beard, like, wanting to look nice. No one's gonna see your dick. Maybe
he was going to a Buffalo Bill party.
Maybe.
'Tis the season.
Let me see the other comments. OP was in the comments saying, I was hoping I was just being delusional and paranoid. No. People are telling her you're not paranoid, move on. You're underreacting, someone said. Actually, you're actively trying to give him any excuse you can, but you already know he's cheating on you. Get a full STD panel when he's done and kick him to the curb.
Smart.
He cheated. Your proof is that he manscaped and spent the night with a woman. What more do you need?
Yeah, literally.
Don't be stupid. Your partner was balls deep in another vagina last night. Ugh. This morning and this afternoon. Okay.
Oh, chill. Disgusting.
You don't gotta be that fucking... Jesus Christ. He's a cheater, as most men are.
Yeah, lady, leave him.
It sounds like she is, so.
I mean, it sounds like she has... I don't know how many kids she said she had, but it sounds like she has a child, not a husband, so she'll be better off without him.
Honestly, and the fact that... Oh my God, I hate when men do this, where they, like... You accuse them of something, and then they start, like...
Crying.
Oh my... Shut the... You're a man. Crying's for the girls only. Men aren't supposed to cry.
The girls and the days, men can't cry. You guys get everything else. Let us have something.
Right. When you're crying, I just want to fucking stop crying.
Like, you can show emotion.
That's fine.
Not when you're guilty and you just become like this little bitch.
Yeah. When I'm accusing you of something or like confronting you with something and your first reaction is to cry, you're wrong.
Yeah, of course.
But if I cry, it's fine.
Okie doke. Okay, so this one is coming from Best of Redditor Updates. It's titled, it's just like copy and pasted, so it's not the original OP. It titled, I Suspect My Girlfriend of Time Travel. This was posted in March of 2024, so like 6 months ago. It's perfect for spooky season. Okay. Burner, so my mane doesn't look crazy. This is probably a weird thing to put out here, but it's not like I can talk to anybody in my life about it without sounding like an absolute loon. And just to preface this, I don't 100% believe this. It's maybe just a suspicion that got into my head, and hopefully putting it down will make it go away. I, 26 male, met my 22 female girlfriend 3 years ago in my second year of college. She was out of state and didn't have many friends here. She was kind of odd for reasons I will explain later, but she was nice and we bonded over watching and talking shit on movies together. When we first got together, she told me she was polyamorous, not interested in sex, and not looking for something long-term as she was going to move away after she graduated. I know this seems weird, polyamorous but not interested in sex, but polyamory isn't all about sex, I learned. We came to an agreement that we would date, but we could date and flirt with other people. I don't think I would want this for a long-term partner, but I'm still young and experimenting. And since she doesn't really have sex, sometimes she gives me a handy, but nothing more, and she always declines when I offer to return. It doesn't really bother me. Now into the weird stuff. She doesn't go into detail about her family. She's from rural Appalachian part of Georgia. That's it. That's all I know. She won't talk in detail about anything else in her past. Always takes 5 to 10 seconds to remember her birthday. And she can never remember if the month or day is meant to come first. Ooh. She's always changing her accent depending on who she talks to.
That's weird.
She says her brain does this automatically, but her sentence structure is weird. Sometimes she uses British slang and words says lift flat wanker, waffing blackguard, how do you mean, instead of what do you mean, can they instead of can't, and I will do instead of I will do that. When she watches Shakespeare, she literally talks Shakespearean for an hour after.
Shakespeare?
I didn't know you could watch Shakespeare. I thought it was a book.
Oh my god. I think they're plays, babe.
Oh my god. She only has a southern accent in the morning before she has a conversation with me. We call every morning. She doesn't like texting. Well, that makes her a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, and she sounds a little out there, but
when she talks like a southerner, she does words like holler and y'all like a southerner though. She doesn't wear modern clothes. She wears corsets and slips instead of bras and underwear. Comfy cozy. Like there's nothing on her legs. She just wears a short dress under her corset unless she's wearing men's clothes, and then she wears old-fashioned looking men's underwear. Where do you buy those? Always
like
has
long johns.
Oh, okay, I understand. Always has multiple layers of petticoats and dresses with
She's a milady.
with styles from all different times. I'm talking vintage 1950s to medieval. When we watch historical movies, she's always pointing out flaws of the accuracy, but it's not historical events. It's stuff like metal wouldn't have been used for that until X year. Why are her laces in the back? That's not really a thing in that era. And that's not how Christmas was celebrated back then. That cutlery is inaccurate for that time. She's too old to have her hair down. She doesn't shave. Don't get me wrong. That's her choice. I just thought it was a little odd. Claims that it's modern invention shaving the body, save for, quote unquote, working women with lice. Why does she know that? In modern invention, she means the 1920s. Obviously, she's really into history. But when I ask her where she gets her information, she can never give me sources. Just, I don't remember. Or, it must have been in a book somewhere. Or, probably online or something. When I doubt all the little details she tells me, she says that it's okay that I don't believe her. But she knows she's right. She's a scholar. She always stresses the importance of sources when I tell her things, but it's like she doesn't even care to prove the things she says. She gets irritated at things on the internet and talks about how much better the old, quote unquote, old web was. When I ask her what she means, she says before 2010. I was like, wouldn't you have been 8 in 2010? She said things like, oh yeah, I guess I would have been pretty young. Whenever I bring up the fact that she never really experienced the quote-unquote old web as an adult or even teenager, she agrees with me and then changes the topic.
I agree with her. I fucking love Neopets.
Yeah.
And Club Penguin. Let's bring the old web back. She's right.
Even though she's always calling out inaccuracy in media, she makes no attempt to be accurate herself, like she mixes up all the eras. I called one of her outfits medieval, and she listed every item she wore, down to what century, decade, even to the exact year sometimes, to prove to me that it was not really medieval. I'm making her sound annoying, but really she doesn't talk about her clothes unless specifically asked. When I called her born in the wrong era, she was very against it. She said she doesn't feel like she's missed out on any of the eras, that she likes living in the now. I asked why she just always is wearing old styles. She said because she wears the old styles, she doesn't mean that she lives back then. She said that's why she doesn't do reenactment, because she has no desire to relive the past. I can't remember what it was in reference to, but I jokingly said, I've lived through the year 2012 3 too many times. She said it as a joke, but I didn't really understand it. So I asked her, and she said she was joking. I said I knew she was, just didn't understand the joke. She just brushed it off and never explained. She has a bunch of vintage USSR and American space pins. She said she's not a fan of the USSR or USA, but she was a bit of a space race fanatic back in the day. Again, she said this as a joke. Struggles to use TV. Something about the remote and buttons confuse her. She says it's because she grew up without a TV, but then she also claims that she was on the internet pre-2010. It's not like it's just a little tech savvy. She knows HTML and a bunch about radios, cassettes, TVs, and vinyls. It's just TV and modern computers she struggles with. I introduced her to Doctor Who and jokingly said if she's a time traveler, and she said something like, I never understood the appeal of time travel. I mean, wouldn't things get confusing? Never remembering your age and always second guessing if you were following the societal standards of time. Maybe I just don't have a big enough imagination, but that's a lot of thought put into time travel for someone who doesn't desire to time travel.
Oh, sounds like you're a time traveler.
She was making a comment on trans issues, said something like, back in the day, you could cross-dress and everyone just assumed you were that gender. It didn't take a lot to pass. I asked back in what day, and she said like pre-1850s. I asked her where she hears this because it sounds silly to me. Like, I'm not transphobic or anything, but I can tell what sex someone is by their facial features. And she said something like, well, we told it goes by clothes. I was like, we? And then she was like, by we, I mean humans pre-1850s, not like I was actually there. I said, what if you were actually there and you were actually a time traveler? And she said something like, I would probably have been a nun. No need to tell men from the women in nunnery. Where did that come from? I was like, what's that all about? She was like, nunneries were the original sororities. Everyone thinks it's all holy, but it's really mostly lesbians. It's not sodomy if there's no penis. Where is she getting this?
What? Nuns being lesbians? I thought like that was wrong in the Bible.
I'm not sure. So we're getting to the end. Speaking of cross-dressing, she does this a lot. She wears men's historical fashion. I am straight, so I see her as a woman, but she told me that she was really agender. I asked why she didn't tell people. She said, it's not that I'm not a woman. The definition has just changed. I'm a woman of old standard, and most people assume I'm a woman, so I let them. I asked if she would prefer I use other pronouns other than girl ones. She said that she really didn't care either way. I'm not really into gay stuff. I have gay friends, so I know more than the average hetero guy, but they don't really talk about gender and stuff, so maybe that's not really that odd, but it seemed odd to me.
Not this guy saying that pronouns are gay stuff. God damn it.
We're almost there, guys. And probably the weirdest thing, she's 5'5", average, looks skinny, but weighs probably about 150 to 175. That's just an estimate from when I pick her up. When I comment on this, she says she has dense bones. What does this mean? She looks slightly underweight, if anything, so why is she technically overweight? There's other stuff too, but that's all I can think of off the top of my head. I just had to vent because it's getting to me. If anyone has similar advice or experiences, please feel free to comment.
I need to know what the comments say.
So this is like kind of what I thought of. Relevant comments are, I'm autistic and have an autistic partner and worked with autistic people as a specialist teacher for around 7 years. This is almost certainly autism. The other explanation people have come up with would probably be offensive if they weren't so hilarious. I find it so funny that instead of thinking your girlfriend has some sort of autism, you came to the conclusion that she's a time traveler.
Yeah, I don't know about time traveling.
I feel like she just, like, knows a lot of stuff.
That's, like, what autism, a lot of people with autism, they're, like, really smart.
Yeah.
She might just like history.
And that's, like, her interest is, like...
history.
Yeah.
There's people that are like that. Me? Not me. I'm not smart.
And
my interests are not, like, Civil War and shit.
No,
I wish I had valuable information.
Okay, so there is an update. Thank you for sticking through this with me because that was so... I have not read something that long out loud in 15 years.
Since high school when you would get picked on to read.
Okay, so update. I decided just to accuse her of time travel, literally just called her and opened with, I know you're a time traveler. This guy is kind of a lunatic. She laughed and asked what the fuck I was talking about. I told her, okay, I don't really think she's a time traveler. I just think she had been keeping something from me. I asked her if she was lying about her age. She got serious and asked me to come over because she didn't want to talk on the phone. Obviously, part of me was hoping that she was going to reveal that she was a time traveler.
Are you kidding me? This guy's crazy.
Spoiler, she is not a time traveler.
Oh, really? I really thought so.
She told me that she had been lying about her age. She's 28, but started college older than usual because of a hard time getting out of her hometown and felt like she missed out on her early adolescence. She regrets it, but she wanted to fit in. She told everyone she was 18 when she first got here, and now there was no going back. She was embarrassed to tell me that she had lied about it, and she didn't know how to tell me the truth. She asked what brought on the suspicion, and I showed her this post. She laughed for like 10 minutes and thinks it's very funny that my first thought was time travel and expressed what you all have, that the oddities were just autism. She said she might not have a diagnosis, but I guess I've been community voted now. She explained everything I was curious about and gave me permission to post here. She grew up in a large family in rural Georgia, which, like, also, I said that earlier, but yeah, like, we grew up in kind of a city, not a big city, but it's definitely different than living 5 miles from your closest neighbor.
Right.
And, like, going to high school with, like, 20 people. She grew up in a large family in rural Georgia. Her family was poor and had multiple addictions. Her dad was an alcoholic and were overall very neglectful. The community she grew up in was really behind in technology because of the poverty, and her family didn't have TV. She would spend a lot of the time at the local library just to be out of the house, where they had free internet access and a lot of books. She found interest in historical clothing, and since she already knew how to sew, due to her upbringing, modifying hand-me-downs and repairing clothes, she really got into it. She was always the least favorite of her siblings, not physically abused, but ignored. When she was older, she found out that she was intersex and had a penis that was removed at birth. She thinks that's the reason her parents ignored her more than the others. They were very religious, and she thinks they saw her as a mistake in God's eyes. The bone density is probably related to her being intersex. As for the 2012 thing, it was a really traumatic year for her. She relives it a lot in her dreams. Oh my god, this is really sad.
This is really sad. This girl sounds cool as fuck.
The sources thing says that it's important in academia, but she doesn't bother when it's just shitting on movies' inaccuracies, since most of it is stuff she learns for fun or that she doesn't remember the sources. The accent thing. She was basically raised online by media. She was quiet growing up and avoided talking to people, so she ended up hearing and absorbing different bits of slang from all over. So, not a time traveler, but pointed out that if she was a time traveler, she could have told me all this to cover for it. I said if she was, it was a pretty genius cover story. Thank you all for enduring my silly theories. Wow.
You're really gonna jump to time travel?
I'm trying to look, at some of the comments.
He seems insane.
I think he is, I don't know, like definitely jumping into conclusions when this could all have been avoided by communication, but I guess that's what Reddit is for, right?
You could be like, babe, why don't you ever talk about your, like, family? Like, you know you can talk to me, right? Because it sounds like she had, like, a tough life. Maybe she just doesn't want to talk about it. Doesn't mean she... Oh, time traveler. She doesn't want to talk about her childhood. Time traveler.
Yeah.
She wears corsets. Time traveler.
I know. I'm trying to, like, peep at the comments. That was a wild ride.
That was crazy.
Okay, reminds me of one of the comments. Reminds me of a subreddit called Drunk or a Toddler. And it was just descriptions of what someone was found doing. And you would have to guess if they're a drunk person or a toddler. And it wasn't always easy to guess. Well, I'm glad that I guess it was kind of like resolved, but I hope she's okay, that poor girl.
I know. She seemed to think it was funny, though. Like, she wasn't like... It's not like... I mean, it's not like this really, like, terrible thing to accuse someone of time traveling.
Yeah, well, I guess it's good that she had someone to confide into. Finally, that was probably like such a big weight off her chest.
I know.
Yeah.
But
he
was just like, I know you're a time traveler. Like, he wasn't like, why the fuck are you lying to me?
All right.
I know you watch Shakespeare. Okay. After that absolute fucking juicer that Taryn just did. I figured it's time for me to do a spooky one because my only personality trait is liking spooky things. It is my favorite month after all, October. So I have kind of a spooky, I didn't fully read this, so we're going on this journey together for the first time. And this is from Ghost Stories from Holiday P. And it's titled, Is My Ex-Boyfriend a Demon? So my ex-boyfriend and I were together for a little over a year before I broke up with him. And to say the least, it was very toxic. Girl, we've all been there. I'm not going to go into depth about what happened in our relationship, but it was extremely toxic. Yeah. This story will be a lot to read, so get comfy and grab a snack. Anyway, I've been on the Depot shot, a birth control shot, for 9 months before I met my ex. I didn't have a regular period for that time. I would spot here and there, but nothing bad. I met, quote unquote, Jake. She must be using like an alias. I met Jake and immediately fell in love with him. I ignored every red flag there, and there were a lot. Girl, we've all been there. A few hours after meeting him, I started having a very heavy flow, which wasn't normal for me. I decided to brush it off, and I didn't think anything of it. A few weeks went by, and I was still having this irregular flow. I didn't want to go to the doctor because I didn't have health insurance due to how expensive it is now. But I did go for birth control. About a month goes by. I started having terrible acne, and I couldn't find a way to get rid of it. I tried everything in the book. So basically my body was rejecting him from the start, and I had no idea.
That can happen.
That could. I mean, me and my ex were together, and everything that could possibly go wrong had gone wrong in our entire relationship. It was just the universe. About a month and a half after I broke up with him, I went into another town to party with some old friends of mine. I ended up getting pretty drunk, having a blast, and got super tired. We were all at a beautiful 2-story house, about 200 years old, on this big piece of property about 20 minutes from the nearest main road. I tell my friends that I'm going to take a 30-minute nap downstairs. I was told not to sleep downstairs because it creeps everyone out. Now, this house always gives me bad vibes. Like there is something wrong with the house. Like something bad is in it. Not you wanting, I'm gonna go to sleep by myself then. I was pretty drunk and I wanted just to go to bed, so I went downstairs. I laid in the bed on my left side and I roll over on my right to grab the blanket. As I'm doing this, I'm in a weird trance state. I don't really know how to describe what happened next, so please bear with me. I fully roll onto my left side with the blanket in my right hand tucked under my chin, with the top of the blanket halfway down my arm. I felt someone spooning me, but it was hot, not warm. I slowly look over my right shoulder and I see Jake's face and body turn into a demon-looking thing. While this was happening, I couldn't move. I could only move my eyes and I saw the light turn on and I heard pots banging together. It was my friend trying to wake me up. I could see the room clearly and all my friends moving and talking. Jake's eyes remained the same as if he was his normal self. I can see them out the corner of my eye. He tilts his head up. It looks at me with a stare I will never forget. He took his hand, grabbed my shoulder. I saw his hand and his yellow broken nails. Keep in mind, he was all red and bloody. I could see every little detail. Everything went black. I woke up in a pool of sweat, and my friends asking me if I was okay. It sounds like sleep paralysis.
Yeah, seriously.
I got up, drove home, and never looked at the house again. I will say I haven't told anyone because I'm terrified. I haven't been the same since. I don't have any more feelings for this man at all. About a week after this happened, my bleeding stopped and I haven't bled since. It's been about 2 months since this has happened and I still think about this to this day. I can't forget about it. I do believe in God. Anything helps. Thanks for reading.
Okay, so it sounds like sleep paralysis, and it sounds like her body was clearly rejecting him. Like, that does happen with men sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your pH balances just don't mesh up or whatever it is. So I think, like, subconsciously she was, like, rejecting him too, and she was having sleep paralysis, and her mind just showed her him as a demon, like, trying to, like, warn her. And then she said she stopped bleeding and it's been 2 months, but did she break up with him? Like,
Yeah, they're broken up.
Oh, okay.
There's edits too. I'll get into that. Sleep paralysis is fucking terrifying. It's never happened to me, thank God.
It's happened to me 3 or 4 times.
That's like my biggest fear because like when I get scared, my first instinct is to go to bed. Just fall asleep. But like if it's happening while I'm asleep,
I have a really good sleep paralysis story I'll have to share sometime. But like part of it was like I felt like I was awake and it felt like someone was crawling in bed and they were slowly like putting their arms around me to hug me, and then it went up to like my neck. It was really, really scary.
And didn't these all happen when you were in California?
2 of them did.
That's
like,
terrifying.
In the same room, like a month apart.
See, I feel like it has to do something with like paranormal.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
like if it's happening in the same spot, it doesn't happen again. I mean, you had it another time, but or like with life stuff. I mean, you're also drunk on top of it. You're like already in an altered.
Oh, she was drunk.
That's why she went to bed. She wanted to take a quick nap because she was wasted or drunk.
Okay.
I shouldn't say wasted. But there is updates. Well, there's an edit. Well, I'll start with the comments first because she's in the edit. She's talking so much about the comments. But one of the top comments is, "Your story is scary on so many levels. I think you dodged a real bullet with that guy. Good for you. Trust your gut. You can always get more in touch with your gut, and while dreaming, you will unleash it into your subconscious." Mm-hmm. Is that guy a real demon? Probably not, but in a symbolic way, by his personality or something about him, his spirit essence doesn't mix well with your soul. Take care and thanks for sharing. And she said, "I'm most definitely sensitive to spirits. Could this have something to do with the house?" People said yes. Your subconscious was telling you. Pretty much that's what we were saying. Yeah. We're like so smart. We're like relationship gurus. So the edit, she says, "Thank you all for sharing your thoughts and feelings. I have come to the conclusion that there was most definitely something evil in that house and took advantage of me being very intoxicated and used my fears against me. Anyway, the man that I was with was most definitely not good for me and needs to go into a mental hospital." I wish we got more tea on him. Like, I know she doesn't want to go into details, but, like, I want to know. Since you guys don't know who I am, I'm going to go into further detail about what happened during our relationship. Oh, here it is. He was very manipulative and would try to isolate me from everyone I knew, along with my family. He would get very, trigger warning, he would get very abusive. I tried to leave this man so many times, but it never worked. He has threatened to kill me. And people I know. He threatened to kill me and the people I know are close to if he didn't do what he said or obey him. I will steer clear from that man as long as I live. I haven't really talked about it after it affected me mentally and emotionally. Right after that experience, I had no more feelings for Jake. I think about him from time to time, but the healing process was definitely very easy after that. I look at the red flags that he had in every guy I think about being with. I cannot look at his face after seeing what I saw and began to go to therapy.
Oh my God.
I haven't talked to a therapist about what happened, and I think I will soon. Can't fall asleep on my left side anymore. I will get severe anxiety when I'm trying to fall asleep. I will never forget about what happened that night, and I hope that this can help other people get to the bottom of things they've experienced. Anything similar, wish you all the best, and thank you.
That's crazy.
Scary!
That's crazy that it made her go to therapy.
We have a fucking audience now.
Colin just got home. We have an audience.
Go to therapy.
But yeah, that was fucking horrifying. And
do you think that your sleep paralysis experiences would make you want to go to therapy? Did they fuck you up that bad?
No, it was nothing like that. I don't know why I had the sleep paralysis. I think in California, I was like dating my ex when I moved there, and he didn't move for 2.5 months, and I had like a month period before I started school. So I was, like, really lonely. Maybe that's when it happens.
Oh,
I don't
the demon
know.
just wanted to hug you.
Yeah.
No, it's probably, I feel like maybe life stress, different atmosphere. Maybe your apartment was haunted.
I was in the penthouse of like, which sounds fancy, it wasn't that fancy, of like a really old building that I guess like Al Pacino lived in or something, or like some famous actor.
Damn.
I don't know if he's alive still. I think so, right? Didn't he just have a kid?
Oh, yeah. He's like 89 and he's had like a new baby. It's crazy. By the way, this is like a totally separate tangent, but my friend Megan was telling me about, have you ever looked up like videos of penthouses, like the ones that are like in the fucking clouds during like a windstorm? Like the whole building is swaying. Like you think penthouse, so like you're spending like $3,000 a month on rent just to like sway. You look outside your window and it's just black because of the clouds. Like you're in the clouds. It's terrifying. Why would you do that? British people are so weird.
All right, I guess this is like wrapping up our first episode, right?
Did we do good?
Okay. We have an audience at home now, so I'm really feeling the pressure.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
All right, but thanks for listening to our first episode. We want to try to get one out every week, and hopefully we get less awkward and better with time.
Oh, I'm scared.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Love you.